Good morning, good morning. It is Friday, July the 9th. Is it the 9th?
It's the ninth.
It's July already. I still remember Christmas. I'm your host, Howard Johnson, and this is Let's Talk Business podcast with Tri-County Regional Black Chamber of Commerce. And we're always bringing you new people to give you some good information, some good nuggets. We got Miss Melissa Ann Harville right here. Did I pronounce that right?
I answered a Havel.
Okay.
But it's Havel.
Okay, and we got my boy Javian Jackson,
Yes, sir.
both from AMOCO Federal Credit Union. We're going to get into that real quick. I'm going to let them tell you who they are, why they're here, and what's going on. But, we're always looking for sponsors for the podcast. If you want to be a sponsor, 832-875-3977. Again, 832-875-3977. And ironically, Amico Federal Credit Union is one of the sponsors of our podcast. So, we always have them on here. They always bring us great information. And so we're going to keep having them back because the information is for our member firms so that, we can get you guys lined up. We can get you information to help you with your business, to help you move forward, to help you keep pushing forward. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into it. Miss Melissa, tell us, where you're from and what it is that you do there.
Well, again, my name is Melissa, and I work for AMOCO Federal Credit Union. I'm the HR manager there,
Okay.
and I'm hoping, and I'm grateful to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
I'm hoping to, offer your listeners some guidance, some tips as they partake in their growth and development and their career opportunities. I know the interview process can be unnerving sometimes when you don't know what you're up against, so I'm here today to help fully offer some suggestions and some guidance to help them navigate through that.
Perfect. Mr. JV, he's no
Yes,
stranger
yes.
to this platform here.
Thank you for having me back again,
Oh,
Mr.
man,
Howard.
anytime.
And again, I'm Javian Jackson with Amico Federal Credit Union, and I'm excited to be here again with you all. I believe on the past few podcasts, we've talked about the benefits of being with the credit union and the importance of our community efforts. But today I believe, is even more special because we're giving a helpful tip that's going to be, that can be used, for a lot of great people.
I didn't even give him
Bring
a
out the best
topic
potential.
today. I didn't even give him the topic today. But you keep hinting to it. I'm gonna give it to him in a few minutes.
So sorry about that.
Nah, it's
But
okay.
I'm excited about this topic today, though, because, like I said, this is something that my nephew can, be able to tune into and can benefit him for his near future of, while applying for jobs and all of this stuff like that.
All right. Yeah, that's perfect. So, without further ado, today's topic is Interview 101. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So, I just want to give y'all our mission statement, here at Tri-County. We are committed to acquiring and disseminating valuable business information, resources, and tools for member firms to achieve entrepreneurial parity and economic prosperity in the region and internationally. And so today, getting you some information, valuable resources and tools. So I just want y'all to know that we're here and we do what we say that we do. We do what our mission statement says that we do. And before we get into it, I always want to thank GMT Radio, www.gmtradio.com. They're the ones who are behind the scenes making this podcast work, editing the videos, because the video recording it is easy. The hard part is when you start editing that thing, and they take the time to make us look good on here and get the information to you guys in a professional manner, so it looks professional, it sounds professional, and you guys can always go back and check it out again. So we're gonna hop right into it, man. We got a bunch of questions. Well, not a bunch. We got about 5 questions here for Miss Melissa, and I guess we'll start with the first one. I was messing with Melissa earlier.
Yeah, see that.
Her profile said I'm 5'5", but my attitude is not. And she came in, she had some heels on. I said, 5'5", you got them heels on today, huh?
That's right.
Okay,
That's
so
right.
the first question we have is how to make a good impression to an interviewer.
Right, and so really there's a lot of things you can do, as you saw with it.
Bring flowers and donuts.
The to make a good impression, I mean, I kind of want to start off with just telling your listeners to write down the number 7, 38, and 55.
Okay.
And you're probably wondering, what is she talking about? But
We're gonna tell
I
them.
will say that basically when you are prepping, and prepping is the most important thing. You know, you want to do your research, you want to prep, and a lot of people don't do that when they're really looking for what's next in their chapter for their employment or their career path. And what they really need to do is research and do their due diligence. And there's several things that encompasses. But the 55 starts off with your body language.
Okay.
55% of what, during the interview process is going to be taken from how you carry yourself. Are you sitting up straight? Are your shoulders back? Are you smiling? Those things. Again, with a 38, is going to be your tone. So if I'm monotone and not really looking and my voice is kind of quiet, then of course you might get a 0 for that percentage. So, and then 7% of it is the actual content to your answers that you're doing. So knowing that is key in how to be successful. So if you are giving some positive body language as far as, sitting up straight, have your shoulders back, look at the making good eye contact. Those things are also going to make you more confident during the interview process. Therefore, your voice and your tone should become strong and clear. And that would also give you a good rating and a good first impression. So then the 7% will be in the content of the actual question, the answers to the question.
So the answers to the question, you can still get the job. You can still get a high score without even answering the questions right, from my understanding of it.
Well, and yes, it's a big part of it, because it's about what you're looking for. I mean, research is key. You want to research the company that you're looking at. And when I say that, you want to be not just research the website. You do, because you want to make sure, and I tell people, you don't ever want to lie about what you want to do. You want to be truthful to yourself, because if you don't, it's not going to be a good match. You're never going to be happy. So, for instance, AMOCO, and we have our mission and our core values out there, and our mission is to serve and satisfy them, our members' financial needs. And we have our core values, and we want to make sure when you're researching that you know that, because what you want to do when you're answering questions is align your answers to mesh with the values and the core goals and objectives of the company's also value.
Yeah, and I've done that. Like I haven't said in many interviews, but I've interviewed people, and when I interview them, when they come on, they'll start telling me about their company, and I'll complete the sentence, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, wow! Like about what's going on." Like if you guys, this was your first time here, and he was like, "Oh yeah, AMOCO Federal Credit Union." I was like, "Oh yeah, a member-owned cooperative organization."
You got it down.
So because of that, you're like, "Oh, okay, well this guy has hit a little bit of research about about us. At least he cared enough to take a few moments out of his time to learn what we are and what we do, or what we stand for, or what our acronym means." So that's a great tip. That's a great tip.
Yes. So it's always, I believe it's always impressive to the person that you're trying to connect with.
So in that 55%, when you say, does that include like appearance, like how you're dressed?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
I mean, the body language and appearance. You want to dress appropriately. You want to again go back to the research. Look at the website. Look at I mean, if you're going, I know for us, we're business casual. Javian's wearing a shirt and a tie. That's appropriate. You know, if you come in a sweatsuit, not so much.
Yeah.
So
because that's like super casual.
Yeah, super casual, exactly. Unless you're going to go work to, like Javian's point earlier, if you're applying to be a trainer, maybe that would be appropriate, but in this situation it wouldn't. So that's where you got to be careful.
So for me, my brother owns a restaurant, and it's guys that come in there to apply for jobs. They'll apply for busser, they'll apply for server, they'll apply for bartender, they'll apply for management. And I tell them, I don't care what job you're applying for. If you don't have on a tie and a button-down long sleeve shirt, I don't care what you're coming for. I don't even I don't want to talk after you come in some jeans and a t-shirt saying, can I get an application? Don't even show up to pick up an application not being properly dressed or not being in the attire that you would go, because you may go pick up an application and that manager may say, oh, I can interview you right now.
Correct. Correct. Right.
You know, and then you can sit down with them right then, and you're already like and then if you know you have an interview and you come, like I've been there when people have shown up for interviews, and I kid you not, they come in and they have on a t-shirt and some jeans, and I tell the manager, and I don't run the company, I don't run the restaurant, I was like, don't even go talk to them. Tell them you don't have time to talk to them today. Or tell them, or just be honest with them. And I tell a lot of people, I tell them, just be honest with them. Hey, look, the attire that you showed up for this interview in shows me that you're not really interested in this job. So, I mean, we're not looking for the greatest people, but we're looking for people who kind of care about, if you don't care about your appearance, then you're not going to care about what's going on, the appearance of this restaurant or the appearance of your job. So if you can't get it right here, you're not going to get it right over there. So.
And you usually see that. I mean, your first impression and what you make, usually I say, this is where they look their best, they're going to look or supposed to be. So you really want to make and put your best foot forward for sure with dress when it comes to dress code.
Okay, and segueing into the next question, like what mistakes can applicants avoid during the interview process? So that means you've passed the stage of filling out your app and you're sitting down, you're talking to somebody, and you have this interview. So they're looking to hire some people. They're considering you. So what mistakes can be avoided once you get to that point?
Well, and there is a lot. I'll just cover a few.
Okay.
You want to be on time. I mean, that's so key. You want to make sure that, especially if you're not familiar with the location that you're doing.
Quick question. What is on time?
On time is, to me, 10 minutes
early. Okay. I say 15, but 10 is perfect.
I would say 15 too, 10 minimum, because I say 15 because if you're nervous and you're not, you want to make sure what door you're supposed to go in, and sometimes you have to meet the receptionist and they let you know to have a seat. You can let them know, give yourself 5 extra minutes. So I said 15,
go to
perfect,
the bathroom,
to go to the bathroom and
wipe the
wash
sweat
your
off.
hands, dry them off. If you're nervous, you might have sweaty palms, so you want to make sure that you can dry yourself off and make sure that you're looking presentable, especially if it's raining outside and things like that. So you want to make sure that you're, so 15 is perfect. And but again, with that being said, you don't want to be too early either. Don't get there 30 minutes early and want to sit in the lobby and just be on Netflix or something, because that's not good. And with that being said, also, when you are walking in the building, your first impression starts right then and there. Right then and there. So whoever you encounter, whether it's another employee, the receptionist, they form an opinion on you, on how you interact with them.
Treat them as if they're the interviewer.
Exactly, spot on.
And you can't go wrong if you. And I mean, I'm like that, and I keep referring back to the restaurant. But when I come in, I speak to, from the managers all the way down to the guys sweeping the floor and taking out the trash. And the guys sweeping out the floor and taking out the trash, I know them by name. I call them by their name. I shake their hand. I ask them. We have casual conversations. So I treat everybody the same, so nobody feels like they're being, walked over or overlooked or disrespected. No one could ever say, oh, well, he was nicer to the managers than he was to me.
Right. You want to give everybody that same prep.
Exactly. And then what other mistakes can be avoided once you're in that interview process?
Well, when you're in the interview process, you want to make sure that you're making eye contact for sure, and that you are, again, your body language is appropriate. And you don't want to. You want to dress again to not distract either, because you want to. We want you to be yourself and be professional, but I've even had situations where individuals, even with hair or makeup and jewelry and things like that, that are dangling and it can be distracting to the interviewer, the hiring manager, whoever's doing the interviewing. So those are some smaller mistakes that you can make.
Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Keep it professional. Smile. You don't want to seem, you don't want to be looking down. You want to make sure you're making that eye contact again. Things like that. And I guess a few other things is, I wouldn't say they're mistakes as much as you want to get fully rested the night before. You don't want to be yawning. It's because it's the perception of the interviewer that if you you have your arms crossed or you're kind of like, oh, well, it kind of might lead the perception that maybe you're not interested in what the interviewer's asking you and things like that.
If you're tired, you need to get some coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Stop and get some Starbucks.
Yeah.
So body language plays a big part in how someone,
That's it's all in the 55. So
it is in the 55.
It's in the 55. I hope y'all wrote them numbers down. I remember them. 738 and 55. That equals 100 if y'all didn't know that.
And it's a scientific thing, so it's all over the internet. So after this is over, go research it, get familiar with it, and practice.
Miss Jones joined us on our virtual. She's early, but we'll be getting to you in just a second, Miss Jones. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question then. What are some tips to having, so there are all types of interviews right now. We have, I won't say all types. You have the computer where you're emailing back and forth, and then you have your in-person, of course, and now they're doing a lot of Zoom interviews. So we're going to focus, specifically on the Zoom interview, and what are some tips to having a successful Zoom interview?
Well, you definitely want to be aware of your equipment. Is it upgraded? Do you have Zoom? Are you familiar with Zoom? And if you're not, have someone Google it, look at YouTube videos on how to do it, and be familiar with the actual software itself. So a mute button, where's the mute button? Because you don't want, dogs barking in the background or anything distracting. You want to make sure that the lighting is really good. That's key, because they want to be able to see you like they're seeing you face to face. So look and make sure the lighting's there. Make sure that you communicate if you're going to be in a home, that other family members know that you're in an interview, so that you don't get interrupted and things like that. Make sure, again, like your equipment is, you have a backup plan. If your internet goes down, do you have a hotspot? Things like that. Make sure you test the equipment, walk through that. So that you don't have any kind of, oops. Because it is different. Internet, go up and down. So if it does, what is your plan B? Do you have a hotspot on your cell phone that you can get on? And things like that. But you also want to make sure that you are not like sitting on the floor. That's happened, where you're still sitting up. They want to see as much as they can see, and it's very similar to the face-to-face, but the technology is different.
Okay.
So you don't want to, if they are asking you a question, you want to make sure that you're looking to, right at them, not looking at the ground, or I'm sorry, my dog's barking back here. Let me get up and shut the door. Yeah. It's about being prepared.
Being prepared.
Being prepared.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I guess that kind of preparation is kind of key for, that's like a good one to write down. An interview 101 preparation is key. That's like at the top. You have to prepare for each one of the aspects of what we're talking about in interview 101. Quick question on the Zoom interview: how important is your backdrop? What's behind you? Right,
and that's another way. You want to make sure that you have a good, clean virtual background. We don't like to see other things or other people coming in between, because it is very distracting. So look for a professional background. It could be a desk setting, kind of also sharing with your interviewer that you're ready to go to work. Okay. And so there's plenty of them on the internet that you can do that have like an office desk and things like that. If you're interviewing to work in a, a clothing line, you might want to put something that's related to that.
Okay. And then, what are some common interview questions and how to best answer them?
Well, there's a lot of common
Give us
ones,
like 2 of them.
but I'm going to give you some of the big ones, okay?
Yeah.
And probably one of the biggest ones that I and it's really the first one that you get is, tell me a little bit about yourself. And that's designed to be an icebreaker. It's basically trying to open the door. But what that question means is, tell them about your professional self.
Exactly. Don't talk about what happened last week at the. I mean, hobbies. So are hobbies okay with that question? Oh, hey, I've worked at this company for this long, and I did that. I did this, and on the weekends I like to surf.
Well, and that's a great point. And I was speaking. I spoke earlier was on our way over. We were talking about just resumes in general. I've seen mistakes like typos and things that you want to make sure that you're not. But once got past that and you got the interview, you also want to make sure that you are in tune to like a cover letter, a short summary. So that's already kind of in the interviewer's mind and head. Kind of what I did to what I sent you about me. Because
Exactly.
if you had my resume, you already know my work history, my education and background. So you don't want to waste anyone's time rehashing it verbatim. Now, to re-summarize it is a great start. So tell me a little bit about yourself. You can kind of go walk them through your resume, but hit on the highlights. I know you saw my resume. I have my master's in this. I spent the last 6 years. I'm a for me, I would say something like I'm a human resource professional for the last 15 years. I specialize and focus mainly on talent management, recruiting, and employee relations.
Okay.
Sum it up. You want to have kind of like a little elevator speech for that question.
Okay, perfect. Wow, this has been some great information, guys, and we're segueing into the last question, and this is a good one. So, what big takeaway would you leave for our listeners?
I would leave that one of the most important part about the interview is that you aren't afraid to ask questions back to your interview so you can find out more. So at the very end, listen to them and listen what they're saying about what the position, what are the challenges that they're looking for to help overcome with this position in order to relate what they can do to that answer in order for them to set themselves apart. What makes you unique and what is your passion? It's not just about the skills and abilities. What sets you apart from the other 5 candidates that might be there? So what makes you unique?
Why should I hire you?
Yeah, and you want to say, if it's because I can do this, and this, and that, because I don't want to tell you.
You have to be prepared to answer that question.
And I don't want to tell you exactly what to say, but this is what they want to know. They want to know, okay, this is what the job requires, and you want to say, I can do this, and that. And guess what I'm going to also tell you is that I can not only do that, but I also can do this, and that. It may not be part of the requirement, but it's like, oh, wow,
we're not value add. I'm not just hiring.
Right, exactly.
I don't just have this position. Now I have this extra stuff. Yeah.
So it's like
the icing on the cake.
Yeah. So you're the complete package, and then the employer feels like they're getting a little extra with you.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, this has been a good segment. A bunch of great information. Again, interview 101 with Miss Havel.
Well, thank you for having me.
So how do you pronounce it?
Havel.
Miss Havel. Yep.
Yes.
And my boy JV.
Thank you.
AMOCO Federal Credit Union.
Yes.
So once again, we always like to thank our sponsors. AMOCO Federal Credit Union has been one of our sponsors here for a while now, and they sponsor the podcast. So like if you want to be a sponsor, just give us a call, 832-875-3977. Again, Mr. Jackson, JV, and Mrs. Havel.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. We're going to take a break real quick, and we'll be right back with our second half of the show.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome back to the second half of our Let's Talk Business podcast. My name is Bobby Holman, and I will be with you today. I'm happy to spend some time with you today. And we have an exciting second half for you as well as our first half. I would like to introduce our next guest, Miss Cynthia Jackson. She is our next guest. She's a business broker with Capital Revenue Financing.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How's the weather out there?
The weather is kind of hot right now.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
we're feeling the summer heat out here in
All
California.
right. Okay. Okay. Well, we're gonna get started. Before we talk business, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Okay, so of course, I'm Cynthia Jones. I'm a business loan broker. Been in this business for like over 5 years. Have a business management background as far as a degree. And I'm a counselor as well. So I'm kind of like all over the place, but I have a lot of experience in the finance area and business and managing businesses. And it's kind of like a dream, something that
Wow.
I'm passionate about. I mean, always wanted to be in business for myself and just manage businesses. And, I'm passionate about helping my clients achieve their goals.
Oh wow, that is exciting. There is
Yes.
definitely something about doing something that you absolutely love.
Yes.
It's not like a job. You don't think of it as a job because it's something that you love to do. So I can't identify with that personally, but I get it. I totally understand. But first of all, we'd like to welcome you to the show all the way from sunny California.
All
And
right. Thank you.
tell us a little bit about, okay, you're a business broker with
Uh, Revenue capital financing.
Revenue Capital Financing. So
Yes.
tell our listening and our listening audience as well as our viewers, what makes Revenue Capital Financing different from other
Okay.
financial agencies?
Sure. Good question. Well, we basically we're a brokerage, where we're directly connected to lenders.
Okay.
So there's no middle person, and we work hard for our clients to identify the best lender for them, lender or lenders. And we respond. I always hear, from clients that they have experiences where, businesses, brokers may not return their calls or, let them know the status of their loan or,
Okay.
we are not that way. We're very responsive to our clients. We want them to know that we're working hard,
Mhm.
that we care about them, we care about their time, and it's valuable. So I would say those three things, are assets that we bring to the table that, like I said, I hear and a lot of our clients praise us for it.
Absolutely. And when you think in terms of applying for loans and something, and it's oftentimes we may be new at it, or this may be a first
Mm-hmm.
for the applicant. And so just to know that those are the three assets that set you guys apart from the other guys, that is certainly a plus. And
Yes.
so that's a welcome plus. Sounds
Yes, and
great.
as you mentioned, like you said, for someone new, we kind of hold your hand as well. We,
Okay.
kind of explain the process and guide you, and you
Okay.
know, to wherever we need to guide you if needed. Because sometimes it can be stressful. Like
Yes.
opening up to someone about all your personal business
Yeah.
information, trusting.
Yeah.
So, we try to be very supportive and very mindful of that.
And I think when you say trusting, that's key,
Hmm.
because it's almost like exposing yourself.
Yes, it is.
It's like exposing sometimes those personal things that you don't want people to see,
Exactly.
and so with the lender or brokerage or financing company, you have
Hmm.
to share those things,
Yes.
for obvious
Hmm.
reasons. So yes. So what about what type of business is revenue capital financing? And what services do you offer?
Sure. So we're a commercial finance agency,
Okay.
and we offer alternative lending, meaning that we work with clients that are bankable and non-bankable, like someone that would actually qualify for a bank loan, and some that may have challenging receiving a bank loan, qualifying for a bank loan. And we offer loans nationwide.
Okay.
We're directly connected to lenders, so we have clients all over the United States. And even if you lived out of the country, you just have to have your banking information in the United States. You have to have a U.S. address.
Okay.
So all your business have to be here.
Okay.
And so, yeah, so we offer loans nationwide. So it doesn't matter where you live. We have clients in New York, Georgia, Texas. We partner with a lot of, we have business partners in Houston, Galveston. As you know,
Okay.
I'm originally from
Yay,
Galveston.
Galveston.
Yay. So, yes, so that's what we offer.
Cynthia, talk a little bit about, you mentioned bankable and non-bankable.
Uh-huh.
Talk a little bit about, give us a little insight on a unbankable situation, because I know that I've encountered people who have had some less than or some challenges. I'll say it that way. Some
Sure.
people that have had some challenges, and because of those challenges, they've been just a little gun shy. They're like, no, I'm not even gonna apply because I've got such and such, and I know I'm not going to be approved anyway.
Sure. Well, as I said, our lenders, most of them are private lenders. We do work with some banks as well.
Okay.
So sometimes, a situation can be, clarified with a story.
Okay.
We can call a lender and kind of like, give them a story about maybe they don't have the perfect credit history or credit score, but maybe they're strong in another area. It depends on what type of loan they're trying to acquire.
Okay.
So, and banks, their criteria is much higher, because they're regulated by the FDIC, where our lenders are not. So they have a little more flexibility
Okay.
on making those decisions.
Okay. That's really good to know. That is really good to know, because, as a Chamber of Commerce, we have our members who are, some of them are very, very new. Some of them are just starting out. Some of them are visionaries that don't even know where to start.
Okay.
They have the vision for the business, but they're like, they don't know the business side of it. Like, let's just
Okay.
say there is a member who is a clothing designer,
Okay.
and they have this awesome product,
Okay.
an awesome product, but now they're like, okay, where do I start? We've gotten their business registered properly,
Okay.
so that's the first step. Okay, and so when we think of in terms of their business plan, and then now the financing,
Yes.
and so they're very, very new and very, very green. So and we want to make the connection with you guys, so that we can, say, okay, hey, call Cynthia, she's here, and she can lead and guide you to where you need to be, because they may be like, well, I don't know. I don't know where to start. I don't have the money. What if I'm not approved, and those kind of things, just because
Sure.
you are so new.
Yes. No, that makes sense. And we're known to be very resourceful as well.
Okay.
So a lot of times, we, get clients. And if I didn't mention, we offer loans to startups and established businesses. So not just established business. And that's where one of our loans, the unsecured personal loan, come in at, where you just qualify by your credit history.
Okay.
So a lot of times we get individuals, entrepreneurs that wants to start a business, and so we can also connect them with how to get a business into or a company that offer that.
Okay.
Just whatever questions they have, we try to be resourceful and have people that we can connect our clients with.
Okay, that's good information. Uh,
Hmm.
what is it? What is it? Tell us, what does it take to apply for a loan?
Sure. Well, each loan is different. So most of the time it's just a quick application,
Okay.
15 minutes,
Okay.
where I would speak with that individual and just collect pertinent information about themselves and, maybe their business, if they have one, their credit history and things like that. If they have the collateral or, you know, what are their assets if, and they don't have to have any, but, it's just a quick application, 15, 20 minutes. And then for like our unsecured loan, we would have them maybe send over their Credit Karma login information, and we would just peek at their credit. We would never run it unless they plan on accepting a loan.
Oh,
But so just to see where they at and what they could qualify for. So yeah, it's pretty much just a quick application.
okay. It's kind of like, it sounds like it would be like a short application.
Yes,
Um,
it's very short.
okay.
Yes.
Would it
Hmm.
be considered a soft inquiry on their credit score? You mentioned that you don't even run it unless, you know,
Hmm.
they would say yes to the terms and conditions.
Sure. So if it's not me that would run it, it would be the lender.
Okay.
So let's say if I had someone that needed some funding and I was considering them for unsecured personal loan, I
Hmm.
would forward their credit bureau information, the Credit Karma or the Experian account, whatever account they would send to me. I would
Hmm.
forward it to the lender that I would have identified, and they would look at it and see what that person could qualify for. And at that time, of course, communicate that to the client. And so, to answer your question, yes, most of the time it is a soft credit pull if they want to move forward.
Oh, that's
Only,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would say only if they want to move forward because we're very mindful of we don't pull credit because we know that inquiries can also bring your credit score down.
Yes.
So we that would be the last thing that we would do. We all definitely want to set our clients up for success. And so we're just looking to see what type of credit history that person would have. But yeah, that soft credit would be, of course, you have to get approval from the client. So
Yes.
we would never do anything without approval. We're very professional. And so, that's how that would work.
Okay. That's good to know also. And that takes me into the next question. What
Okay,
type of credit, what type of credit do you need to have in order to qualify for a loan with you guys, with
sure.
revenue capital financing?
Okay. So for the unsecured personal loan, which is one of our main loans, you need at least a 680 credit score or above.
Okay.
And basically, the lender is just looking for you to have a good credit history. It doesn't have to be perfect. They don't want to see recent, like the last 3 months, late or collections. But it doesn't mean that if you've had collections, a while back, it won't stop your approval. They just need to see that you have maybe like let's say three good lines of credit history. Maybe you have a major credit card, maybe
Okay.
you have a department store card or a car note, maybe you have a house payment.
Okay.
They just want to see if you have a good history of paying your bills.
Okay.
Nobody's perfect, so they're not looking for perfection.
Okay.
Yeah, so for that type of loan, it's a 680 above. Then we have other loans, like for instance, SBA loans. They only need to be like in the low 600s. Okay, because generally, there's based in that on, let's say, if someone is trying to acquire a commercial property, so it's basically going to be look at more of the property, the value of the property versus your credit.
Okay.
Same with our real estate loans for investors, the fix and flip, fix and rent, mid 600s.
Okay.
It's good. Of course, the better the credit score, the better the rate in
Of
any
course.
situation.
Of course.
But you don't need to have a really high credit score for that particular loan. And then we have other loans like accounts receivable loans, the invoice loans, where you have outstanding invoices and that you can borrow off of them. You don't need credit score. Your credit score doesn't apply because only the business that you're on the money to, that you're waiting for the money from, they run their credit.
Okay.
So every loan is different, but basically, you just need to have, I would say, a 600 credit score,
Okay.
at least for most loans.
Okay. That answer has my mind just really going. Where we are down here in Texas, Cynthia, it is the trucking industry is a booming industry down
I
here.
hear, I
It
hear, I
is,
love it.
yes, yes, it is booming down here. So we're having
Mhm.
a lot of our members are, of course, we have a truckers alliance. Uh,
Okay,
it's one of the services that we offer, our truckers and construction alliance through our membership.
okay,
And so we have um, our members who are very new to the game,
okay.
just,
Uh-huh.
just like green, like, okay, what do
Yeah.
I do next? What do I do next? And so
Mm-hmm.
they're looking to finance a truck.
Okay.
I'm just gonna give you a scenario.
Sure.
Okay, let's just say that we have a member who is looking to get into the trucking industry. They're in the trucking industry and they need to purchase a truck. They need to have a truck financed.
Sure.
Let's
Mm-hmm.
just say it's a dump truck.
Okay.
And they're on the backside of a foreclosure. Okay.
Okay.
They have successfully completed the process. It's over, and they're back on in the black, so to speak.
Okay.
And
Sure.
they have successfully completed that process. They're like, say, a year out, and their
Okay.
credit score may be 711,
Okay.
but they
Mm-hmm.
still have that bankruptcy on there. How would
Okay.
that affect, or to what or can you just kind of share a little bit about what would be the next steps for that person?
Sure. Well, with our equipment lenders, we have different levels of equipment lenders. We have a lot of them. It just depends on what type of equipment, but for the trucking and specifically, we have different levels. We have some that requires collateral. Some of them works with challenging credit scores, as you mentioned. A lot of times when they see bankruptcies, they do like to see at least 3 years that it has been discharged, but not in all cases.
Okay.
But as far as challenge credit, we have different levels of lenders that will lend. So that wouldn't be a problem. It's a case by case basis.
Yeah.
I would actually have to see the specific, like
Of course.
situation as
Of
far
course.
as the value of the truck or your credit history.
Yeah.
But and so that's where the consultation come in at.
Okay. It's kind of like common sense kind of things, though, but I wanted to mention it for our listeners and our viewers,
Sure,
because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And
for
so
sure.
even with you and revenue capital financing, and for our listeners and our viewers to hear it,
Hmm.
and to hear you say, well, all is not lost, and it's
Hmm.
on a case by case basis, and
Yes,
we work with you, and all of those things are encouraging for a new trucker that's trying to get in the industry. And of course you have to have a truck. You know what I'm
sure.
saying? So that's very, very encouraging. Thank you so
Hmm.
much for that.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Yes. And so tell us a little bit about the turnaround time.
Okay.
Okay, the turnaround time for a loan approval, um, for just let's just say on an average, a person that doesn't have an 850 credit score, but everything else is looking good. They may have a 700, and I keep going to 711 for some reason.
Right.
A 7,
You like that score?
711, yeah, I like that number. A 711 credit score, and everything
Mhm.
else. Like I said, it's less than perfect, but they've got some things that are going for them, and they're workable, I'll say.
Sure. As I said, each loan is different as far as turnaround time. So it depends on what type of loan. So our most common loan, as I said, is the unsecured personal loan. That generally takes like a week to fund
Okay.
once you get the approval. So I would
Okay.
say a week and a half at the
Okay.
most for that loan. Of course, we have our real estate loans. They always take 2 to 3 weeks because you have to get the appraisal and you're working on the appraiser's timeline. And once you receive that, then the loan would close within a week or two, considering everything is going accordingly. How fast the client get the paperwork back, things like that. Yeah. But most of our loans is like a week or two.
Okay.
Then you have the SBA loans that take 30 to 60 days. Those are different. That's just across the board.
Okay.
But to answer your question, I would say a week and a half to 2 weeks,
Okay.
just to, be fair. I hate to say, oh, it's a week. And then, someone apply for a loan and they're like, wait, I thought you said it was only going to be a week.
Because that's what we do. That's what we do. That's what we say,
exactly.
right?
I just like to give a little room for, most of the time the lender is working with other clients, so everything doesn't always, of course, I funded loans within a week, but I always say give it a week and a half, just to be fair.
Yeah, I do that all the time, just in life situations. Give yourself some wiggle room in there.
Yes.
Just to make sure and to allow for those things that are unexpected.
Exactly.
So so I know all about electronic filing and all those things, and we're here in Texas and you're in sunny California.
Yes.
And so what advice would you give to someone down here in the Galveston County area that is wanting to reach out to you so that they can get financing to help with their business?
I would say just give me a call.
Okay.
Give me a call at my 818-486-4183 number. If I don't answer, leave me a message. I will respond. Okay. And we'll just have a brief conversation and just kind of see like what your business needs, and we just kind of take it from there.
Okay. Can you give us that number again, Cynthia, a little bit slower? Sure. And then also your website. We want our listeners and our viewers to be able to go and pull you up on the website as well.
Sure. So my direct number is area code 818-486-4183. Okay. And they could also send me an email. Maybe email is better. So my email address is Cynthia, and that's CYNTHIA at revenuecapitalfinancing.com. I know that's long.
That's okay.
And then we have a website.
Okay.
You can also contact us through there. And that's www.revenuecapitalfinancing.com.
All right. So now we have a phone number, we have an email address, and we have a website. So we're certain that we're going to be able to get you with one of those.
For sure. You will.
Yes. Okay. So I see here that you do a lot of things, provide a lot of services, and that is very, very impressive. It reminds me of the chamber because we offer a lot of services.
Yes.
And I see here, talk a little bit as we wind down, Cynthia. Talk a little bit about the fix and flip. That's very popular also.
Yes, it is. It's actually one of our main loans.
Okay.
So the fix and flips. Basically, as far as qualification, again, your credit score just need to be like in the mid 600s. Okay. And you don't have to have experience, so they look at, your reserves in the bank. Okay. If you are trying to acquire a property and, they want you to have a good credit score. And of course, since the pandemic started during COVID-19, the criteria for the credit score has raised. It used to be the low 600s, but things changed because as a result of the pandemic. Right. So they want to see reserves in the bank. They want to see that because when you're trying to buy a property, you always have to put a down payment. Of course. At least 10 to 20%, depending on, your credit score, your experience, and things like that. So they want to see that you have the down payment and you have the reserves, at least 3 to 4 months of reserves. Like that's just money in the bank that you're not touching, so that you could afford the payment of the property you're trying to acquire. You're not just getting, buying it. You do have some backup money in case anything go wrong.
Okay.
and they base it on your experience. So if you have zero experience, your rate probably is going to be a little higher initially.
Okay.
You know, that's just the way that works. So the more experience, the better the rate, and they look at all of it.
Okay.
So, and you need to have a business entity.
Okay.
So, you need to have an LLC, a limited liability corporation, or partnership, or S corps. So you're always going to purchase it under your business. And pretty much that's the start of it. It's just as simple as that. And those are generally short-term loans.
Okay.
Because the idea is you're gonna purchase it, you're gonna fix it, rehab it, and and then you're gonna flip it, which is that's your exit strategy. You're gonna sell it.
Right.
So that's a short-term loan, and they expect you to do it within a year.
Okay.
So when that loan comes to term, if let's say you're not able to sell it, then you would look to do a refinance
Okay.
of that loan.
Okay.
Or maybe extend it. Maybe you need a little more time.
Okay.
And you can extend it.
Okay.
But if you sell it, then that's that. That's the end of that loan.
Then you can just start all over. Just start all over with your next project, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then with the fix and rent, kind of like almost the same process, but those loans, you get it for a longer term, because you're actually, once you purchase it, fix it, and you're going to rent it. Generally you have to have a lease agreement with someone, a potential someone.
Okay.
So there's different scenarios, how you could do it, but that's the basics. And the criteria is pretty much the same as far as the money you need.
Okay. Fix and rent. I never heard that. That's a new one. I learned that today.
Yeah.
Fix and rent. Okay.
Some people call it fix and hold, fix and rent. It's the same thing.
Okay. Same thing. Just different verbiage, right?
It's different verbiage. Yes.
Okay. As our time winds down, I want to ask you one more question.
Sure.
I see here where you offer house of worship financing. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, that's our church financing. So, we offer finances for churches. Again, even like if they need equipment for their church,
okay,
or they want to refinance maybe they already have a loan and they need to refinance it, or they want to refinance it, maybe they want to get a better rate, whatever, or they just need money for their church. So we look at like what the church is bringing in, because the church actually operates as a business as well.
Of course.
So we have special lenders for that. And if you refer someone, that lender will compensate you. They will give you a referral fee for that.
Say that last part again, Cynthia, about the referral.
Yes, the lender that we're connected with for that loan, if a person refer a church, I would, sign their name up for the bonus. The lender will actually pay them a referral fee.
Oh, wow.
For referring that church. Of course, they have to get approved for the loan.
Of course.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a very good referral program.
Okay.
And if anybody wants to know more about that, just give me a call and I can go into more details about that.
Absolutely.
But it's a very good program.
Okay.
And they help. They have loans for churches that are doing well and that are not doing so well.
Okay.
So, and like I said, if they want to know more about that, we can go into details, like if they call me.
that is certainly good to know. I will certainly keep that in the front of my head. It's been a great interview, Cynthia. As we wind down, is there anything that you would like to briefly touch on before we close out today?
Basically just, to let everyone know that, we offer so many different types of loans, I only mention a few.
Yes.
And we offers letter of credits,
yes.
And, commercial loans, if you're trying to purchase a commercial property or refinance, If you want to, because sometimes a business already have like different loans, we can assist in debt reconstructing those loans to make it a better rate for you, a better payment. So we just have all types. Sometimes it's just a matter of just calling and consult, and just see, what if or what can be offered.
Okay. Okay.
And we also offer credit repair. A lot of our clients, they get denied for their loans because maybe they have a few blemishes in their credit. So we have a service that we offer to assist the clients as well.
Okay. Wow. That's great information, Cynthia. Thank
Yes.
you for being a part of our Tri-County Regional Black Chamber of Commerce Let's Talk Business podcast, where we are one chamber and we service 12 counties. The counties that we service is Harris County, Montgomery County, Liberty, Galveston, of course, Brazoria, Fort Bend, Chambers, Jefferson, Orange County, Jasper, Newton, and Hardin.
All
So
right.
our reach is wide.
Okay.
We are the largest chamber in Texas. So if you're needing our services, please go to www.tcbcc.org. That's tcbcc.org, and look us up, call us, and we're here to serve you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Okay. You as well.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.